3,704,558. All done. Oh, hello, minions. I've just been counting the gold in my treasury. The wizard has somehow been messing with my hoard, even while trapped in a soul gem. I'd be impressed if I wasn't so perturbed.
Maybe it's upside-down thinking, but I think that number suits him. Do you think he'll be able to calculate the code?
But that's neither here nor there. I assume you're here for a different kind of treasure, aren't you? Listening to the sound of my hypnotically resonant telepathic voice to recount the further adventures of the Assassin's Guild in the Night Below campaign? Well, you're in luck, as there are stories to tell. Oh yes, minions, some fun stuff ahead indeed. So, let's begin, shall we? As always, the action here is recreated using the Order of the Stick monster for every season cutout minis. Today's players. Rick as Nomgare, neutral evil human cleric of mask, 5th level. Sean as Bob, chaotic evil dwarven assassin, 5th level. Shannon as Elwinda, chaotic neutral elven fighter magic user, level 4/4. And continuing to guest in, Matt as Kurg, lawful evil half-orc assassin, 3rd level. Higgins player Sean is unable to attend, so he will be NPC'd for the session. When we left off, the team had just defeated the first line of defense at the Broken Spire Keep, and were preparing to breach the keep itself. Assembled in the courtyard, they ensure that there are no other surprises in the various buildings before turning their attention to the main structure. The group has bound the sleeping prisoners they captured on the battlement as well. Nom commands his zombie minions to bash down the door, but once they do, the group is met with a wall of darkness. From within, a deep and rhythmic chanting can be heard. Nom immediately recognizes both a darkness spell and a chant spell. Clearly those inside have prepared. Nom unbags a rock with a continual light spell cast upon it, one of a few he'd previously made upon reaching 5th level. He then tosses it into the building, negating the darkness spell. Immediately in front of the entrance is a large overturned table and a group of zombies flanking the door. So Nom sends his own zombies in for an undead battle royale, in which the dice favor our protagonists. Nom attempts to take control of the enemy zombies that aren't destroyed in the battle, but even though he automatically succeeds in turning them, his attempts to control them fail and they withdraw, only to be cut down as they flee. While this is happening, a sneaky crossbowman has moved into place on the roof, with a clean shot on Nom. The DM calls on Nom to roll surprise. Since the enemy is well hidden, Nom and group are surprised on a 1-4 and a d6. Nom rolls a 4, granting the crossbowman 4 segments of surprise. By the book, characters with prepared missiles may triple their rate of fire if they achieve surprise, giving the crossbowman 3 attacks for this round. Further, this DM rules that crossbows shoot 1 per 2 segments during the surprise portion of the round. This gives the crossbowman 2 shots during surprise segments, with his final shot coming after surprise is resolved. Normally, Kurg and Elwinda, with their 17 and 18 dexterity respectively, would negate some segments of surprise for them. But as it happens, they are out of the kill box, securing the front gate, so it's immaterial. The would-be sniper looses on Nom, but the cleric's luck holds and each shot misses entirely. Once surprise is over, Nom's archer henchmen Kurt and Lomar, along with the 0-level retainers Claude and Smith, retaliate with some rather accurate hits, killing the crossbowman. The PCs then storm the compound, and the chanting ends. The group sees 2 figures darting out of another door. The team follows the running figures, with Nom using his zombies to bash in doors. The new corridor leads to the base of the spire, with spiral staircases going up and down. There's another door that Nom has the zombies bash in, which leads to a disused kitchen and former smithy area. A quick check reveals no surprises. Bob and Nom decide to invade the lower levels while the others secure the upper level, sending a zombie down ahead of Bob to engage anything at the bottom, with Bob and Nom following. They hear the zombie engaging in battle, and as they descend, find 3 skeletons. Nom attempts to assert control over them with his turning ability, but fails again. The skeletons are still turned, however, and flee down the hall, with the zombie smashing one to pieces as it flees. Down below they find a shrine, a foul place. Nom's wolf refuses to enter. It is a former shrine to another god that Nom can't immediately identify. Using the zombies to clean up some of the filth covering the symbols, Nom learns that it was a shrine to Torm that has been desecrated in the name of this Ace-Erik. Nom desecrates the Ace-Erik symbols in the name of Mask. Though while he is doing this, 2 war dogs come barreling down the hall and attack the wolf, followed by 2 skeletons. Nom sends his zombies to aid the wolf, but the presence of the undead unnerves the animals, so the DM checks morale. The dogs flee, as does the wolf. Nom attempts to turn again and assert control over the skeletons, successfully this time. Bob, in the meantime, hangs back, checking doors. A massive stone door with an ornate heraldic symbol blocks passage to another room. Bob and Nom are unable to identify the symbol, however. They return upstairs to regroup before exploring the subcomplex further. Meanwhile, up above, Kurt and Lomar have made themselves comfortable from the cold air by lounging by the fire at the hearth with a flask of wine they found. Work smart, not hard. Good job, lads. Elwinda uses the amulet of detection to scan the entire upper complex. In the armory, she finds a secret compartment wherein lies a light crossbow and case of bolts, both radiating magic. Searching an area of barracks, she doesn't find any magic, but does come across a very scared teenager named Hadris, who throws his weapon down and pleads not to be killed. Elwinda readies her weapon and demands answers from him, which he readily offers to save his hide. He was previously conscripted by Ranchefus from his hometown of Thurmaster because he needed money. He didn't know the extent of their operations, but Ranchefus has been kidnapping spellcasters, as well as people with another kind of special ability that Ranchefus didn't elaborate on other than to say that only humans, dwarves, and halflings possess this gift. Hadris knows no more, as he wasn't part of the raiding parties, because he wasn't ready to consume some special potion all of the others in the keep had. He was relegated to latrine, cooking, and cleaning duties. They take Hadris out to the main room where Nom has had zombies bring all the corpses in, as well as the sleeping prisoners from the main assault. Using a piece of chalk provided by Kurg, Hadris draws a rough outline of the lower level where Ranchefus has retreated. Hadris says he was only allowed in one room down there, a shrine where Ranchefus makes sacrifices to his god Ace-Erik. Nom asks about Ace-Erik, but Hadris knows nothing. Hadris tells him that this keep is on an entrance to the Underdark. He heard Ranchefus say as much. This news unnerves Kurg greatly, though he says nothing. The group returns to the lower level in force, checking for secrets and investigating the deeper hallway. A locked wooden door intrigues Bob, so he pulls out his tools to start unlocking. During that time, as Nom rounds a corner, Ratchafis appears from a previously hidden door, attempting to gain surprise. But Nom is not caught off guard. Declarations are made. Ranchefus is attempting to cast a hold person solely on Nom, while Nom declares he is casting command. The others are down the hall and declare movement. Bob shrugs and refuses to give up picking the lock as he wants to see what's behind the door. Initiative is rolled. Ranchefus wins by 4 segments, not enough to beat Nom's 1-segment command spell. Nom commands Ranchefus to undress, but alas, he is more than 10 feet away, which is the range of the spell at indoor scale. In their previous encounter, he had cast the spell against him using outdoor scale, thus giving him more range. But at indoor scale, the range of the spell is but 10 feet. Ranchefus casts Hold Person on Nom, but Nom's saving throw roll is 19. Even with the -2 from the spell effect, it is more than enough to save his bacon. The zombies advance, and Nom's birds and wolf move forward, succeeding on a morale roll for proximity to the undead. Next round, Nom declares casting. His teammates have moved closer, but with the cluster of zombies and animals, there's no point in engaging. The DM calls for Nom to roll surprise again, which he does, scoring a 2. Bad news. Another factor has entered the battle and caught him off guard. Initiative is rolled, and Nom loses against Ranchefus and his hidden minions shooting from down the hall. 2 opponents armed with shortbows, with a tripled rate of fire for having an ambush ready with missile fire and gaining surprise. They loose at Nom. Another DM ruling here for clarification. During surprise, bows get 1 shot per segment, unlike crossbows, which are 1 per 2 segments, granting 2 shots for each archer during the surprise segments of the round. 2 hits are scored, thus ruining Nom's second attempt at command. Nom orders the skeletons down the hall to engage. Kurg moves across the hall to a doorway where he readies his bow to shoot at these new targets. Ranchefus attempts to shut the door, but a contested roll to push it closed against the zombies prying it open fails, and the melee is continued. A new round. The DM this time has Kurg roll against surprise. He rolls a 1, but with his high dexterity negates the segment of surprise, therefore costing him only the initiative. A figure who has climbed up and hidden in the rafters drops down attempting to loop a garrote around Kurg's neck, but the attack roll fails, and Kurg is spared being choked to death. Kurg turns to face a crazed-looking woman, and draws his 2 short swords to engage. Nom commands 2 of the zombies to attempt to overbear Ranchefus, and 1 to aid Kurg. The attempts to overbear fail, and Ranchefus is able to finally shut the door. A faint blue flash occurs as the door slides shut, and the wall looks like just another section of wall. Nom curses, fearing that Ranchefus may have now used some magic to escape yet again. Hagen casts a web spell down the hall at the 2 archers, who are now engaged in melee with the skeletons. The 2 fail their saves and are snagged in a sticky tangle, removing them from the fray. Kurg is in battle with the crazed woman when he notices 2 war dogs approaching. He braces to fight the lot. One dog takes a chunk out of him before all is said and done, but between him and the zombie, the dog mistress goes down. And combination of injury and the presence of the undead prompts the dogs to flee. The zombie kills one as they go, and the other injured dog retreats to its kennel and whimpers. Kurg moves in and shuts the dog into its cell. Elwinda examines the wall, finding the seams for the door with her elven sight, though a turn spent attempting to find the means to open it yields nothing. Bob, who has long since picked the lock on his door, finds a completely dusty and obviously disused room. He decides it's wise to wait, and just watches the action from where he is. They call him forward to see if his dwarven talents can find the means to open the secret door. As it's a stonework sliding wall, he's able to spot it almost instantly. He uses his knowledge to open the door, but is unprepared for the glyph of warding that is set off, blasting him with cold damage. He makes his saving throw, then backs away, spewing some foul language befitting the ruffian he is. With the door open, they see a chamber beyond wherein stands Ratchafis, alone. He parleys, offering Nom power on a scale he knows nothing about, but Nom simply scoffs, spitting any offer of talk into Ranchefus' face. Some of the others give each other a shocked look, Kurg especially perturbed, as their mission is to get information as well as deal with Ranchefus. Hagen offers to fill the room with webs and wait while he suffocates to death. Nom likes this idea, and Hagen casts the spell, trapping Ranchefus in a mess of tangled webs. The DM here makes the biggest blunder of the session, completely forgetting in the moment that Ranchefus is under the effects of free action and cannot be restrained. But such is the way of things sometimes. Webb has a 5% cumulative chance per turn to suffocate anyone caught inside. Such a nasty little spell. I love it. The rolls are made, and after an hour, Ranchefus succumbs and finally dies. Likewise, Ranchefus' 2 men Hagen had put in webs at the end of the hall succumb to suffocation and die. Somewhat anticlimactic, I suppose, but in this game it's not about how cinematic it is. It's about whether or not you survived. And they did, so good on them. The group wastes no time in assembling all the loot they can find, using Elwinda's amulet of magic detection, stripping Ranchefus and his goons of some exceptional gear. This is an epic haul, minions. A chest in Ranchefus' room is warded by the same glyph as the door, but this time Bob spots it. They use a key found on Ranchefus' body, and Kurg suggests using a skeleton to open it, as they are immune to cold. They do this, setting off the glyph harmlessly. Inside, several hundred pounds of coinage, plus a spellbook and some scrolls, make the spoils of this victory even sweeter. Realizing that there is still more to explore, plus the possible entrance to the Underdark that Hagers had mentioned, they decide to return to the top level and regroup, where they can plan the next move. The session ends there. So, Ranchefus has finally been brought down. The group is still in quite the pickle, as they are in the deep thornwood, with Quipper no doubt alerting Heronshire to their return. This is the first boss battle, to use video game vernacular, though there's still a little more to deal with in the keep, so we'll see what happens. A tough encounter made easy by good rolls, the PCs being of higher level than was expected of the module, and one Dungeon Master blunder that was ultimately immaterial, as the team would likely have defeated Ratchafis regardless, though it would have been interesting to see how things would have played out if it went down to melee. Ranchefus is a deadly foe in combat, but the team is pretty strong too. I would estimate probably about 50% of the first of the 3 Night Below chapters is now complete. There's still much going on in Heronshire that will keep the group occupied. In addition to the extra bits and bobs the Dungeon Master has added to the scenario, such as the elf Lyra hunting Nom, the mystery surrounding Ace-Erik and Nom's conflicting memories, as well as Ranchefus' interest in special individuals. With the team having already been leveled instead of starting at level 1 as the module suggests, these first encounters were decidedly easier. But now they are catching up to where they should be, so expect things to get harder going forward as the mystery unfolds and the meat of the Night Below campaign reveals itself. The loot they found here is a real treasure trove. I won't reveal too much as they're still figuring out what some of it does, but let's just say that if they get back to Arabelle and sell off the excess, then most assuredly everyone is looking at a jump of a level or 2. Even more intriguing is that the 2 assassins have now started plotting against Nom. Kurg, being a follower of Mask himself, has decided he's not happy with Nom's adherence to the dogma, while Bob feels that the benefits of a sale of the loot would be far more useful if there were fewer shares to go around. Delicious, minions. Utterly delicious. I don't mind teasing this particular revelation, as I have peered ahead, and it has already been resolved in a most unexpected way, so nothing is being spoiled for players. I assure you, I am hard at work in prepping the recap for your viewing pleasure. Player versus player action looms, and the result is delightfully fun, so keep an eye out for Night Below session number 9. That is all for now. I will summon you when I am ready for your next audience.